Just want to start out, just shared with the players on the field why the flag was at half-mast today. We all have probably similar stories. 23 years ago, my wife and I are dating. I'm a high school football coach. I'm sitting, getting ready for my second period class, and the baseball coach's son comes into the room and says, "Hey, coach, somebody just flew a plane into a building in New York." So we flip on the TV, and me and 28 high school seniors sit there and watch the second plane hit the other tower. And it was obvious to us at that point that it wasn't an accident, that our nation was under attack. And I just sit here and think that 3,000 Americans got up that morning to go to work and never came home. And I just don't want us to ever forget that day, because it changed our nation. And I have a lot of respect for police officers, first responders, firemen. A lot of people lost their lives that day. I also have a lot of respect for our military and our leadership at that time in this country that unified this nation and made sure that those that were responsible were held accountable, but also made sure that we were safe from anything else. I don't know if we can ever be completely safe, but I just think we can't ever forget that day. And at a time when our country certainly needs to find a way to continue to unify, I just remember that those next weeks, and President Bush at the time. It's just it's a significant moment in our history. So I just want to start by just mentioning that we covered that out there on the field today, and just still pray for the families that still mourn the loss of their loved ones that day. So all right, with football, really good couple days of practice. Kids are zipping around really good. I think their heads in a good space. I think we've been pretty sharp this week. They obviously know what we're up against this weekend. Coach Clark, I mentioned it the other day, got a lot of respect for him and what he does and how he does it. We have a huge challenge Saturday that they'll come in here ready to play. They're a very, very talented, solid football team. It's a big test, okay? Great opportunity, but a big test. Really excited. I think the Boneyard's completely sold out. I think the stadium has a little over 1,000 tickets or something like that left, for a complete sellout. So there's gonna be a huge crowd here on Saturday. It's our job to make sure we're ready to play. The kids will be ready. So they're excited about the matchup. Questions?
Coach, y'all played so many snaps in the ODU game, especially those offensive linemen. Yep. So how do you make sure they're good, going to another game?
Well, that's what we talked about, as a staff last night, and then today. Just got through talking to the team about it. We have some high rep guys from this past weekend that, the number one focus for the next 48 hours is to make sure that they are fresh. Our athletic training staff and our strength and conditioning staff, they've got a lot of different things they're doing with them and during their downtime the rest of the day today and all day tomorrow. It's obviously something we've got to really focus on. We've been very deliberate with the reps that some of the kids are getting, making sure they're getting the reps they need to be ready for Saturday, but also not putting too much on them. But that's obviously, a big piece of this week.
Talked to Marlon yesterday, and he talked about how important this particular game is for the older guys and how they're, kind of take it personally. Do you see that out there, that these guys really want this one against Appalachian State?
Well, it's our goal board out there. It's got one team on it, and that's got to be our focus each week. The goal is 1-0 this week. So, this week, this game is the most important one to us. It's fine that, the guys, have a little bit, inside of them about this game, this matchup, this rivalry. But, we got to focus on ECU, because that's the most important thing. We got to take care of ourselves, and we got to focus on making sure we do our job.
How important is it to once again get the running game going? Because that seemed to really open things up against Old Dominion.
Well, I think that, the ability to do both, we're certainly not a one-dimensional team. Right. It was great to see, the backs get going on Saturday. Rajay, Javius, and Marlon, all three, especially in the second half. You mentioned Marlon. He may not have had the glamorous runs or the big 63-yarder like Rajay did, but he had some punishing runs, and I promise you, those linebackers felt it. And I thought that was a key in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter. Them having to tackle him. He's a big bruising back, so I think it's important. Certainly is. We just got to make sure that we're never one-dimensional.
Rajay said you had a little words to get him fired up.
Well, I just
Yes,
told him I was thankful that Ant was able to shield that guy so he didn't get walked down on that 63-yarder. So we always go back and forth. He's a breakaway back in his mind. So just can't let him forget who he is.
If Javius is unable to go or if something happens later in the year to somebody, what are your thoughts so far on Montgomery? Does he get any reps at the ones, and do you trust him to?
Well, he gets a lot of reps every week. He's got to continue to come along. But we've got several guys that we can use in a lot of different spots.
With Jake, y'all referenced he's kind of been the same guy, 7 picks in 2 games. Has he changed at all, or is he still the same guy at practice right now?
Well, I think he's been very sharp this week. I think he's practiced very, very well. I thought today just a lot of zip on the ball, very decisive. I think the big thing that he's worked on all week with Coach Baker is just not forcing things, taking the throws that are there, and knowing when to fish or cut bait kind of deal.
Is that one of those things that maybe the light comes on at some point that you have to keep working through that?
Well, I think the more experience. We had a really good quarterback here that holds a lot of records, and when he was early in his career, he threw some that drove me crazy.
His light was out too.
And then late, he tries to forget about it. But late in his career, he didn't do that anymore. That's the thing for Jake is just using that experience. Nothing teaches you that the stove eye is hot like touching the stove eye, And so, but he's got to learn from those experiences and learn to navigate. Hey, this is the time to rip it in there, and this is the time not. So.
Coach, how about the whole team? Couple games in, 2 wins, good start. Obviously, that comes with buzz and praise, maybe more so than last year. How has that kind of affected your team and your coaches, either good or bad?
Well, I think the positive piece is the confidence we got from getting 2 wins to start the season. I read the Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt to him yesterday, and just talking about who you listen to and who you don't. Kind of deal, because they can't be reading too much when they have success, and they can't be reading too much when they don't, because there's going to be critics, both ways, and both are probably going to be to the extreme. And so, just focusing on the guys in this room and focusing on, the next play, the next game, that kind of stuff, but also understanding, that you've got to bring your best every single day, and that's, I am glad that we have a team of the caliber of Appalachian State this week, because that makes sure that keeps their attention.
We tend to kind of label guys a lot of times incorrectly when Anthony Smith comes in. He's just a speed guy or whatever, but he made a Randy Moss play the other day. He's got to be at all-time confidence level, and is that same for you? You got confidence in him?
Oh, I've got tons of confidence in him. I saw it all spring and all fall camp, and I'm glad that everybody else is seeing it now. I don't know what happened in the past. Don't really care. I'm glad he's here, but he is unbelievable, and he's a good player, really good player. He is just a great young man, and I enjoy seeing him every single day. Enjoy our relationship.